I just watched a video about the Cleveland Indians name being changed, and you know, it's like the Braves when they came into existence. They used to have the what was his name, Chief Nakahoma, as a mascot, and they've changed it ever since then. They've changed to baseball to the ugliest looking animal I've ever seen in my life. It doesn't even look like a Braves mascot, but there was some tension there about it's it's racist. Why can't you just accept what fucking color you are and just be proud of who you are, what race you are, what gender you are? It don't matter what color you are. It comes from your parents' genes, people. Nobody with a brain would be offended to be called an Indian. And don't make fun of nobody. It's a tribe. It's a thing that represented a tribe of people in the Native Americans. Nobody's sitting there calling him by names. The only people that would be offended to talk about, or they want to talk about race and make it sound like everybody just out here to offend people, are those that can't get their head out of the religious stuff and the politics stuff or the race stuff. For some reason, that's the only three reasons a lot of people wants to live, wants to breathe, wants to have anything, and all that stuff is ridiculous. I mean, you get to where the news is easy to offend somebody because all they want to talk about is all the bad things, and they never want to talk about anything good. So now the and some of these young people from today's era is like, oh yeah, I like the name change. Well, of course you do, 'cause you didn't know nothing about the history of baseball. You just somebody who's just barely been born 20 years ago. It don't make any difference. You know what I'm saying? There's just there ain't no, you'd expect somebody 25 probably would say that or less. Because they don't know no difference. I just told my wife earlier, I said, my God, if they changed the name of the Atlanta Braves and they or another team, the New York Yankees or whoever, it'd be just like, man, it'd be kind of like a sacrilegious thing. People wouldn't want to pour into it. Wouldn't want it. It wouldn't have the same history with it. It just Braves themselves have had three name changes. But ever since 1966, we've been known as the Atlanta Braves, and we had our. You need help with it? Did you find it, honey? Can you find it? Let me see. I'll see if I can find it.
I'm struggling.
Oh, okay.
These old things, I hate these things.
Well, here I'll see if I can
can't
find it.
do it.
I'll see if I can find it. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Yep, here you go. I think that's it. Yeah. There you are. You had the right. You had it just. There you go. There you go. But no, I just sat and thinking about that. I thought, man, what's and so made myself. Well, I looked at the history books and yeah, why did Martin Luther King get assassinated, get shot, and killed? Because he's out there running his mouth, and he's been racist himself, sticking up for his own race and not taking into account that every white person and every mixed person isn't a bad person. Maybe they did get mistreated. And maybe some white people did do that. I don't know. I wasn't here. But that's why we've got our mind made up to, you know, most people today, they don't they don't want to understand that you don't have to, just cause somebody tells you different or makes you want to, and tells you that you have to do this, or you have to do that. You don't have to. Like my wife brought up about the other day, it's cops out here think because they wear a badge and because they have a gun and if they're allowed to have a knife stick or whatever, they think they can just go using all those things. And they think that makes them any more special than the next person. Same thing with the military. Just because you wear that uniform doesn't mean you're the most important person in the world, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're the best person in the world. You can be the biggest jackass known to mankind, as I've said many times. Randy Orton fits that. He was in a military prison for a good while. So just because you wear these important uniforms and all it is clothes, it can be stripped away at any time. And you see it sometimes happen with cops. They think because they're upholding the law. Well, you've got to obey the law. To uphold the law, you've got to obey it yourself. You serve and protect. But if a person in the military wants to act up, wants to get all, out of hand, black, white, green, purple, whatever, man, woman, whatever, then you're, anything can be taken away at any time. So you're not no more, it doesn't give you any more, stroke than any other person. Your job can be jerked out from under you at any time. So, but no, it just amazes me it's how this, these people, they think everything's got to be about one of those three things: race, religion, and politics. And that's exactly what's wrong with the world. Because I would differ if it wasn't so bad and if they were doing it the right way. And if there were certain things, you're gonna have people on one side of the fence or another. But my point of view is you only live one time, and race is definitely out of all three of those. In politics, those two I could do without. Religion I could myself, but I could see somebody maybe. But color is just whatever you was. You're going to be made after whatever your parents look like. They always try to put, like, God. Well, you don't look like God. You look like whatever your parents look like. Maybe there's a similar small image of something that God looks like, but nobody knows what he or she looks like. Be a woman for all we know. Yeah, I'm just saying. There is so many religions that it would take. No religion is 100% right. Nobody's view on race is always right. My view may get somebody to think, hey, it would be nice just to straighten everybody up, but you can straighten up and say, hey, we just, we need to quit worrying about this Black Lives Matter movement. We need to quit worrying about, the Britney Spears freedom movement and all these other movements that's out here. We just need to all straighten the hell up. Need to get right with the program. You see somebody doing something or being racist or being prejudiced, straighten them up. Do what you gotta do. But just sitting here and pointing fingers at me or whoever else out there trying to get you to do right, and everybody else is trying to tell you, oh yeah, plug this tagline. Well, I can just tell you, yeah, I know some people might say, well, you wasn't back here in these. Yeah, I know. But I'd be one of them that would stand against promoting it. I'd want to fix the problem, And the way to fix it is not talk about the problem and make it worse. Because then when everybody else talks about it in the way y'all talk about race and religion and all that, you make you make people want to keep making it like it's the biggest issue that's out here. And it's just so not true. I mean, if there's a few of everybody out there. I mean, it's gonna be people that says, oh yeah, now everybody gets to marry whoever now. They get to, do this or do that. They did that almost 20 years ago. Made that lawful. So again, it's just a preference. But if it were me, I definitely just won't forget all this. It's all we've ever known for hundreds of years, and there have been a few things to try to straighten it all up. But again, you can't straighten everybody up. You can't make the blacks understand and the Mexicans and all the mixed people understand that, yeah, I don't see color. I think it looks pretty. I think any way you look is supposed to be how you're supposed to look at your parents. Y'all, the sports world had their own problem, and they didn't, and for some reason, their eyes saw color. Maybe it's because I'm gonna have to put this out here. Like, yeah, maybe everybody was thinking that everybody looks like the biggest turd that comes out of their ass or something. Maybe that's what they had a problem with. Whatever damn turd you shit out ain't fucking black. Black is a fucking color, people. For God's sake. It's like any other color. It's like, why would a guy get penalized for wearing pink or purple? Or is it just a woman thing? Is a guy just supposed to walk around wearing blue all the time? Why does people get mad if you want to be tattooed up, huh? Yeah, is it going to draw eyes? Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Is it going to draw eyes if you want to be a bald-headed woman? Yeah. If you want, to go out there wearing all these gothic clothes, I'm sure. Anything you can think of. Do I like tattoos? No. Do I like piercings? No. Myself, I don't. My wife truly don't. But am I just going to go out there and do like 99% of the rest of you people that may be out there, or a good portion of you, 90-something% of you, go out there and make noise when nobody's making noise at us? I don't care if they walk past it. Yeah, I may say, yeah, man, that's, I may in secrecy have a discussion with my wife if somebody walk past us, later on. But I'm not calling you out in front of everybody and the brother, and I'm going to make fun of you. I'm not going to do like back in the medieval days and, oh, yeah, this is just the ugliest person I ever laid my eyes on just because of their color, just because of the way they want to live. If it don't fit my narrative, I go on. It's the same thing with what, we're hoping for, or hoping for something nice. But again, everybody's not going to fit. You're only going to have one person that fits you the best. And it gives you the opportunity. Some people wants to believe that, oh, they can't be real. This person can't be real. Just because you're behind the computer doesn't mean that it ain't who it is. I mean, we get people viewing my videos, and my wife's on here when she comes out here wants to say a few things or whatever. She knows she had something to say. She can come on here. I did. I thought it was very, very stupid for people to keep bringing up. I'm not saying these issues don't exist, but the more you keep putting it out there and saying you want to have a protest or you want to do this sort of thing, or every time somebody like, old Cornette calls him President Pig shit, old Trump Every time he said something, everybody listens, and that's a problem. Worse, I'm taking myself and the wife out of this, but almost all people are too gullible for this stuff. They just do anything anybody tells them. But the minute that you know we want to do something that's outside y'all's box, and we don't want to socialize with the same crowd y'all do, or you know, then we've had people come up in here and try to run us over and tell us what to do. But like I said, anything I say or my wife says, you know, ain't going to change everybody. I know that. But the fun part of it is you get to come out here and get to say what you think, and it may help somebody, it may change somebody, but it's not going to change everybody, and there's still going to be some no matter what you do, no matter what you say. Just like I told my wife, well, Nick might like some of my viewpoints in my videos, but is that going to change more than 20 people? No, because it's up to them. It's not up to God. It's up to us. If we want more people, we got to go out there and get it. You gotta tell them about it. Who's preaching, who's doing what, how's the church run, how's do they it's like it's with everything. If you want all these movements and all this bull crap to stop and quit paying attention to every small thing, like the Will Smith thing here as of late, it's just an attention grab. It's just a stunt. It was set up that way, and it might not have been something that was set up, on probably their behalf all the way, but you can tell they knew, and Will Smith and all them people can't tell me that they didn't know that there was a possibility, probably a greater than 80% chance of him going to crack a joke. He saw who was sitting in the crowd. Chris Rock just should have shut his mouth and everything would have been fine. No, he all he had to do was just carry on as whatever he does. He didn't have to crack a joke just because he is a comedian. Doesn't mean necessarily he had to go up there and crack a joke. And everybody says, well, Derek, it wasn't that big of a joke. I know that. But, and the funny thing is, you look back at it now, it's made even worse that at the front of it, you could see the idiot laughing along with it, and just because he stares over at the person next to him, which has to be that ugly one's wife, she don't look that great anyway. I don't know. I mean, she just looks like somebody that's, you can tell usually when I look at somebody, most of them I can tell if they're trouble or not. You can see it. You can sense it. Most of the time that's how I am. I can sense something if it, I don't have to know you inside and out. But anyway, that's our huge problem is our we're not getting the right messages out about why race today is not much of an issue. It shouldn't be. Should it not be brought up, period? No. I think it should be to some degree, but I think we ought to be trying to heal people. And I think by talking about Martin Luther King and celebrating Martin Luther King's shit, I think just makes everything all about him and not actually about the actual problem. It just makes it all look like it's about him and nothing else. And because I can understand why they may make a day for, him and everything, just like I do for baseball, Jackie Robinson, but they don't make it a racial, issue. They say for all athletes, white, black, whatever. They don't just say, yeah, they make sure that they say, yeah, he was the first of color, but that he represents all colors, not just his own race, but all colors. So if we took the Black Lives Matter movement and turned it upside down, I know it ain't just because I'm white. I'd say this if I was black, purple, green, whatever color. Uh, it is a problem because we have to feel like we can't go up and be ourselves around every person we meet. Are we going to meet everybody in the world? No. But are we to say, well, just because I don't see eye to eye on this subject, or because like we had a person up here last year, just because she doesn't see eye to eye with me, does that mean for her to come at me and blame me for her problems, or my wife, or someone else? No. If she were black, I would have yelled at her the same way I yelled at her if she's a white person. If you're gonna yell at me for being right, like I've always said, right doesn't make you perfect, but it lessens the effect on what happens to you. It may not get you, with everybody else. It may not get you, you know, liked by everybody because of what your beliefs are, what how you are. But if we had a lot of people to make a movement and say, man, we don't need to get our panties in the wad every time we watch something on the news, and we don't need to do what these people who's making billions of dollars and hundreds of thousands of dollars. No, we don't need to let these people in our head. If we see fit that it needs to be talked about in some way, like I do sometimes, okay. Is it to be taken serious? Yeah. A lot of the stuff on the news is definitely, yeah, it needs to be taken seriously. But we don't need to just let it get to us and let it, define our day. We can have a good time without bringing up race all the time and making it about politics and the religious stuff all the time. And is there some room in there? Yeah, there those things will be brought up occasionally. And yeah, if you're somebody out there that might be within these walls or something, or might be out here, you might say, well, yeah. I mean, I think that movement would be a lot better than having that Black Lives Matter stuff, because all lives matter. I agree with Chris Jericho, because the whole thing is white people shoot white people. Does that ever get talked about? No. And a white person shoots a Hispanic person. Did that get talked about? No. And a white person shooting a black person, or a black person shooting a white person. If a black person shot a white person, would they get the same effect? No. They would justify it, and they would probably be, but because someone of color gets shot, or it could be anybody at any job, but the police aren't biased. Most of the time, they're not biased, and there might be one or two or three crooked ones hiding out there somewhere. But it don't mean to go on and on about it like CNN and all these people do. They watch it. They get on there and they talk about this stuff for 24 hours, 48 hours, 2 or 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Oh, a couple of weeks. It may be a couple of months, depending on how big the story gets and how big, it just never seems to shut up. It's always been the biggest problem. that we've had. And it just, yeah, maybe I can help a few people. Maybe I can get a couple comments out here. Like I said, this stuff, all three of these subjects deserve to be talked about in a respectful manner. But I feel, and I've heard a lot of talk, but I have a feeling because if you took out most people, and I don't know if white was here before black, I don't know. But if you took out most people and you said, well, Derek is, the blacks probably are going to be prejudiced against the whites in some regard because they feel like their race ain't getting enough attention or there's not enough black people to. Yeah, but if we had all of one color, would it be fair to us? Or if we just dominate, if whites dominated the blacks, would either way, if the blacks dominated the market, just like we don't like when, or most people when they're, when you hear it on the news sometimes, they don't like it that foreigners come over here from other countries and take our jobs. So, but I always say, you're never guaranteed, no matter who you are, to have a job. Person up over you can take it out from under you at any time. But yeah, I feel like, it is just gotten to the point to where we look at color in the wrong way. Most of us, exempting us from it, but it is what it is. But again, it's the same thing with crayons. It's the same thing with any of that stuff. But we seem to care about what our bodies look like and what we all smell the same. We all have our own. If you if we would be cared to admit, we all pretty much smell the same. We all pretty much have the same body parts. We have a few different ones depending on the gender, but our body ain't gonna smell any different when we're gone. We're gone. Our bodies are gonna decay. We're gonna smell. We're gonna have a certain smell like when a dead animal's out here or something. We all piss and shit, and we're all the same. It's no different. Why does it matter what color anybody is? That's what I'm saying. It's like somebody's offended that they look this way, and it is what it is. Black people probably it won't show up as much. The bumps on their arms and what have you. A white person's more likely to show up more. Blacks it probably take a lot more to show up, and have to find a closer look, probably when you're going to the doctor or something. But my goodness, it's like all these people. There's a lot of problems. Like I said, just people want surgeries and always wanting to fix up their stuff and wanting to. Like Michael Jackson changing himself from black to white. He had to go bleach his skin. He had to go get his nose done and all this other crap. That's what Jim Cornette said. Half of the women that's wrestled in the WWE does that stuff. They go and blow their money on stuff like that. Naturally, if you kept yourself looking, that's what's all fake. It's not about who's really behind the computer. It's they're fake. They say they want something, but they won't come out there and be themselves. They always got to accuse you of being fake, or they always got to accuse somebody. I never believe in doing that. But it is. It's just gotten so ridiculous the way the world is. But I just felt, they'd kind of come out and put this out there because that's kind of like, that stuff kind of had me a little bit. But, you know, this might help somebody. But, maybe we can like I said, get enough people behind it. Maybe we can change some of these movements and lessen some of this impact on this stuff in a good way. Get it to the point we need to get to and not make it just because we're, you know, trying to hammer home that, yeah, people of color got hated on. But, and probably, and it's just the same thing with women. They weren't allowed to do a lot of things. Nowadays, you wouldn't know hardly any difference. Except if you looked in baseball, baseball's having to be hoo-ha over, women getting to be a coach. I said, just wait till they get out there and actually try to play. Then we'll see what they got. If they go out there and pitch a ball overhand, because I can tell you that softball stuff ain't gonna work. That whole funky thing where they do their little arm thing like they do. If you're gonna pitch, you're gonna have to throw overhand in guys baseball, and it'd be interesting. Man, I'll be waiting on that day because I remember when what was her name, Danica Patrick came into the NASCAR. They act like she was the first woman to do anything. And I look back in NASCAR stuff, and there was people in there from the 80s and 70s. 2 or 3 other women had done it before she did it. But she's the one that was getting all the. They act like she's like the first one to ever do something. NASCAR, but yeah, and just hopefully maybe somebody will take a look at this stuff and most people that I've seen of color or has had a little bit of color to them have always treated me pretty good. So. But if we watch lesser news, like myself and my wife don't watch a lot of news, if a lot of people didn't care about that stuff and it was people that, subjects we know that's talked about throughout every day practically, then we wouldn't have as much problem of just doing things and doing our own things the way we ought to do them. But anyway, I'm gonna get off here and watch the Braves game now. I'll see you later. Bye.